Are we here? Oh, is it doing the wrong audio device again? No. Hello, Murray. Are you there? Oh dear, I've screwed up my webcam settings and... Oh dear, oh dear. Murray, is that you?
Sorry if you can hear me now.
Oh, now I can hear you, yes.
Now you can hear me. Okay, sorry, being the professional that I am.
Yeah.
I screwed up my settings on my my headphones. But we got there.
So how have you been?
I'm very well. It's been raining all week here in Copenhagen, but I've got a rooibos tea. I'm very cozy, so I can't complain. How about yourself?
Yeah. I'm feeling kind of tired, but I think all in all, getting along fine.
Okay.
I cannot get my webcam working properly. Oh, well, I'll just go with this shrunk view. Yeah, I've all week since we saw Astrid's hot dog recipe, I've been
Oh yes, yeah. I've been to ask you about that. How was it?
I guess I can turn on my camera for you without screwing it up on stream, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Is it going to cooperate? I don't know. I'm showing it on stream. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but
I can see. Oh,
this is the latest
now.
Iteration of the dogs I've been making. I've been making them like every day, trying to sort of figure out the method. Currently, I've settled on like wrapping them up individually in the foil just to hold them together a little bit. These ones are a little bit underdone. The cheese could be more melted. I was just rushing to get them finished for the stream.
Yeah, that's fair. But they look very nice. I'm very jealous.
Oh yeah, that's very good. Just got some. It was one of those things where you come across when people put things in recipes. Sometimes they'll have things that in the recipes that are like things that happen to be in their supermarket, but you won't necessarily find. Like the recipe calls for what was it? Kidney beans with chili, like canned kidney beans with chili, and I'm like, okay, I'll get that. But like, you know, I don't see canned kidney beans with chili. I see like canned kidney beans or chili con carne with beans. I'm like, is that what she means? Not quite sure. So I've made it a few times with just beans, with some onions and green peppers. And this is actually the first time I've done it with proper chili. But it's always been pretty good. It's a really nice lunch to do, I think.
Okay, that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
sounds great. Wow, and what like I just want to. It's such a fun parable for Welcome to Elk that you took the recipe of the hot dog and then in your own way had to like do it in your own way. So you're now telling your own story with the hot dog.
Just for something as mundane as what does Sainsbury's actually have?
And now you know exactly. If someone asks you what kind of kidney beans they have at Sainsbury's, you'd be like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah. I meant to have some booze as well, but forgot. Maybe for the final episode. I mean, it feels fitting, you know, Elkton Island where there's just bottles of beer hidden
around. Yes, yeah,
buried.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that sounds nice. Now I'm drinking. I have a tea, so my taste buds betray. But when you're saying beer, I'm now thinking, oh, that sounds quite nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I got to share my screen, haven't I? I forgot about that. Let's get into it. So, previously, I'll turn off my video actually because that might. Yeah, I think I don't know. Did you actually see me on video, like on my camera in Discord? Or did you have to tune in?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, you just had to tune in.
I just saw it. Yes.
Yeah. I think it just gets pissy if you try to use the webcam with two different programs at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think this was our file. Yeah, it was 32% through. So we've just dealt with Jeppy's death, and saw the video with I believe Astrid's father relaying his story, which that came from. And we had a little dream sequence as well.
Exactly. Yes.
Was that the dream sequence with the phone, or?
Yes, it was with the phone. Yes, with there's a phone on the boat, on the infamous boat, and Frigg, she, because obviously like she's come to this place, she's isolated, and then you know, she's missing home. But it's actually it's a hard place to kind of contact home, so the phone's kind of like, you know, and she's trying to ring someone, and then it's like,
she's trying to speak to her mum mostly, I think.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
She misses her mum terribly.
Yeah. I think it's a very like, you know, naturalistic thing that when you because I mean it's something we don't explore. Frigg's here you go. This is probably the, like, you know, a window into a thing. You've got a picture of her parents in the background.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually notice that before. Oh, that's sweet.
It's a nice. I mean, it's a subtle. We tried to put it because obviously this game isn't so much like Frigg's, like we've said before, is more the avatar. Like she's a surrogate of the audience. But at the same time, we wanted to still feel like, you know, like she isn't just like, you know, a cardboard cutout. She has like, so when she reacts, and then she has a background, that she has like, you know, parents, like she has a home outside of Elk. So it's at moments like this we tried to like, you know, not over labor it, but to, like, you know, to make it like, I think a lot of people could relate. Like, well, I mean, not that most people have been through what Frigg just went through, but I think that if you went through it, you'd probably want to talk to your parents.
Yeah. She's not completely a Link, I suppose. Although that said, I was just watching a friend of mine stream Wind Waker, where Link does have a sister and a grandmother for once, but let's not get into that too much. I'm pretty sure I read the bottle message. Like I think what we ended the stream on last time was
we did, which was very nice. Yeah, you read the
Frozen Man. Yes, the original. Yeah, the tall whiskey a day.
The tall whiskey a day. Yeah.
Jeez,
such a great nickname. I mean, yeah, but obviously a harrowing story. But yeah.
It abbreviates well too. You can call him Tall Whiskey, just whiskey.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. It's got a lot of It was funny because for me, hearing that story, I didn't know of like Nick, because Nick, I think especially in English and Britain, like nicknames tend to have like more of a snappy purpose to it. And it was very interesting to me hearing that story, and like the concept of like it's a sentence is a nickname.
Yes. So Frigg is gonna once again head to Jan's workshop.
Yeah.
We both know that she's not going to get to do any woodworking. I think this I don't know if it's a chapter strictly, but this day is maybe the last one I have played previously.
Okay.
So assuming I'm remembering correctly, I think I know what happens today.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that Beth was especially torn up about Yeppy's death.
Yes.
She had a funny sort of relationship with him.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely in development. This was I would say this was the hardest part, story-wise, like just gameplay to bridge, because it's still like you're like about a third, because it's not, it's like the game's in total like about 3.5 hours in, so you're about a third the way in at this point, and so it's still not over halfway. So but it's, you know, quite a like an impacting moment, like with Yepa dying. You know, it's a heavy moment, and obviously we really wanted, like, for the authenticity of the ramifications and the feelings to carry through. At the same time, you don't want it to be so bleak that people just go, oh, I don't want to play this anymore, it's too sad. So it was a real balance of trying to find ways of like having those tender moments, but at the same time keeping a little bit of humor. Well, it's not going to come from these two, but
yeah. Jesus. It just occurred to me that Frigg is like, when she says that boat looks familiar, she's making a reference to the fact, oh, is this the boat from her dreams?
Yes, yeah. That's, and it's a little bit on the nose, but I think for some people it's fun when they notice at different points.
So we got Leroy here hanging around outside Jan's workshop.
Yeah, this is definitely one of his worst conversations, I think.
Crying of shit. Maybe I'll voice it. But didn't he agree to help take a look at our scooter? Well, of course he fucking did. No one says no to me. That's true, Leroy. Tell you what, though. The sounds his machines were making didn't half make me think of the goat. Well, talking about the goat, if it isn't my little petal. Hello or whatever. Why are you calling me a goat? Oh, Petal, not you. I never confuse a lady. The ghost is another special friend of mine. Lives on a nearby island. See, we call her the goat, because when we get to the down and dirty, she squeals. And I'm not talking any regular old pissy squeal. I'm talking a loud, breathless shriek. It's loud like only a goat worthy of its name can muster. Oh boy. Ha ha ha. Oh, Jesus, yeah, he's not fucking pleasant.
He's grotesque, yeah, and it's, you know, it's like one of those conversations where you kind of want to say something, but you know, like...
You're, like, signing up for so much trouble if you do.
Yeah, exactly, but it's hard, like, you know, because I think everyone's been in that situation of being around someone saying something really unpleasant, and then just, like, you know, like, screaming inside. Oh, yeah, Leroy, ugh, gives me the heebie-jeebies.
It's especially bad for Frigg because he literally sexually harassed her on her first
night on the island. Yeah, exactly, right? And he's just walking around. Yeah.
The fact that he specifically, like, references remembering her as well, like, oh no, I wouldn't confuse you with another bird. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. Yes.
You'd almost rather be forgotten.
No, of course, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Frigg's got a lot to deal with right now.
Yes, it's a bit. Chapter 2 is definitely the most like swings and roundabouts chapter, I think, in terms of like whiplash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all intentional, of course, but even it's funny, like even like being a developer and you know like working on this stuff, it still emotionally affects me.
Yeah.
These bits of it really like I mean, it's the interesting idea of how, you know, especially with characters, how they become like their own entities, and how like I don't think about Leroy as someone. Oh, I like, for instance, I wrote the dialogue for Leroy, so you know, like I'm responsible for how grotesque he is in that sense, for the words he says. At the same time, I've created I've distanced myself from it in that sense of I just see him as a character, and I'm just like, oh, that guy's so gross, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, like of course he's saying that.
Yeah. I think in this, was it in the same night that like Frigg had her karaoke session with Beth, and then, or was it the morning after that they find Yippie's?
It's the morning after the karaoke.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and he was kind of wondering, like, is Frigg hallucinating, or...
Yes. For me, because, you know, if someone came to a young person and, you know, and, like, knowing... I think, like, Jan especially, he's got empathy enough to kind of understand, like, this person is, like, not from around here, and has probably gone through a lot. So when they start, like, asking about things which, you know, you're kind of like, that doesn't sound right, you'd probably be a little bit on the worrying side.
Yeah. Yeah, speak of that. Am I going crazy?
I just want to say that, like, Frigg's, like, that face is my favorite face. The one to just straight.
Yeah, just the very wide, like, straight mouth.
Yes. Yeah. The problem is it's such an extreme face, you can't really use it too much, but every opportunity where I was like, this will work, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like there was a lot of that on the development of Tangle Tower, actually, where Adam, like, before he was really, like, settled on the script and had the voice lines, he drew all the facial expressions for the characters ahead of time, but he found he had to like redo a lot of them once he got the dialogue in, especially for Sally, because her voice is like, she's like quite dour, like very kind of mellow, and a lot of the facial expressions he'd drawn, which were like the sort of standard set of expressions he'd worked out, were just too extreme.
Yes. Yeah. That's really interesting. I mean, that must be fascinating working with voice acting and how much that voices must the relationship to the voices in the art.
It was Tangle Tower especially, because it was a sequel, and two of the characters are recurring.
Yes.
So Adam kind of had the those voices already.
He had like them locked in at least. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
everyone, I mean, obviously he'd be better equipped to offer commentary on that specifically.
No, of course, for sure. Yeah. But it is interesting things.
But I was in the room for a lot of it, not for the recording specifically for obvious reasons.
No.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so this is Beth's place. It's on this little. Oh, geez, this is. Actually, I suppose this isn't quite another island, so it's probably.
No, it's kind of like it's a little bit like compartmentalized, like
Yeah, there's like hills in between that you have to
exactly.
go through.
It's a very rocky place, Elk. It's you kind of like that's why all the houses are built on these kind of like wooden platform kind of thing, beams. So because the ground's not flat enough to just lay the foundation down, so you kind of build the beams and the structure to create the flat bed for it first.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful but harsh terrain.
I guess mostly what I was worried about was, is Beth the woman that Leroy is referring to as the goat? I don't think so. I mean, it would be extra gross if she were.
That would at least I can say that much. That no, like the goat was on a different island. There are neighboring islands like near Elk, which we refer to, but I think that would be a little bit too dark, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like Beth, like I've said before, one of my favorite characters, kind of stuff that, but it is like she does get quite a lot of like the like I mean it says a lot for a character such a strong and like such a, especially in this exchange here, such a
yeah, she's like resilient. She's not like immune to like hardships like this, but she is able to take them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, there's a pragmatism in the fact that she's like, I will. And it's not like she's cutting off her emotions or anything as such, but it's more that she's just accepting, like like I need to be in a different mode in order to survive.
Yeah. There's also a little reference, like Freddie losing another man in her life. Yes, I think you made reference to it before. Like we do eventually find out what exactly happened.
Yes, to George, her father. Yeah. Yes, don't know if we'll get there in the next session.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. They're all every chapter's roughly about the same size, I think.
I mean, like I know that the title screen said like about 33% through the game.
Yes.
So in theory, that means this is like 3 sessions to get through, but also you don't know if it's exactly evenly distributed. Things just don't always work out that way.
As we're talking and stuff, yeah, of course, yeah, totally.
I'm stuck again. Also, yeah, we're making a trap for squirrels.
Yes.
And I think you talked about this before, how like they've made reference to catching and eating squirrels, and we're not quite sure how literal that is, and it seems pretty literal at this point.
It's quite literal, yes. I think like it's part of the idea that when like different communities, different people, like the standards of what's okay to eat, and like and how you go about that is different to our own. Mm-hmm. So especially resourceful. I mean, but this is definitely an example of like when I was talking about balancing out the tone of chapter 2, like as in you've had this kind of like very like it's quite a hard morning, as it were, like so far, like at the beginning, but then like with this kind of mini game, it's kind of an opportunity to go like, okay, like let's like,
you kind of have to break up those somber moments to make them mean more, because if it was just like all doom and gloom, it would almost lose its context.
Yeah, of course, because to a certain point, because people like everyone has a threshold of like what they can take, and there's also the people like it's one of the, I think we touched on it last time, but one of the character traits, attributes of this community is that they, even despite the tragedies that befall them, that they're able to see the other, like, you know, they're able to like see the other, like the light side. They're able still to, like, you know, smile and laugh. Even, and it's not to mean that they're not like crying or also expressing sadness, but it just means that they recognize that life has both of those things, and it's just like, you know, that's just how it is. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to streamline it a bit, but now I've got to change parts up. It's very Is the game called The Incredible Machine?
That was fun.
Yeah, that's good. I like this.
That's good. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun seeing different people like. I mean, because it's one of those things where as I mentioned before, but we have like a lot of it is about like guided expression. So it's just like a way of just like, you know, being able to express yourself. Like, there's no way of failing this like game at all. Like, you don't even have to get the balls in the trap at the end.
Yeah.
Like, you can make a broken thing and then just click the seal and then you're done. Like so in that way, it's like, you know, we're trying to like just put like, we're trying to like explore more the ideas of play than we are necessarily
yes, it's play.
Like,
that's what it is.
Like a set design. And there's
best expression.
Yeah. I love this, like, you know, Freddy going, oh look, like, you know, Friggs made a, what is it?
Don't be rude. It's also fun because it was one of the artists, like, you know, when I gave the task, was saying we needed to have something of permanence there to represent what you just did. Yes.
At the same time, it would have been too much work to try and have the like what we did with the balloon game.
Like, actually represent what you did in the game.
Representing what you did. It was like, oh, is this going to be? There's too many variables to it. So then it was kind of fun having to say we need to look something that actually looks like it would work, at the same time represent how ridiculous that game is.
Yes.
And then just put it there. So when you kind of look at it, enough for you to get the feeling of, yeah, that's probably like kind of what I made. At the same time, you look at it going, why did I make that? Very inefficient.
So with this sentence, this gives Beth the sound of like a Southern belle, like, sweetie, you know, it ain't nothing more important than you getting that learning. Was that your intention?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I mentioned before, the accent. It's like I feel like because of like how long they've all been living here, the idea of mongrel accents, the idea, like, you know, that because of like some of the things that it's some of them have particular kind of like phrases or kind of like some dialect things which are more set in than others. Like Mr. Bow is very, like, you know, he has his idiosyncratic way of speaking. But I think with Beth, for instance, like, she's someone where there is that Southern belle, there is that like twang. At the same time, it's kind of like threaded through with the Nordic as well. So then you have this kind of very, like, you know, it feels very like elk in the way that they all speak in this kind of very unique like flavor of different like almost reference. It's almost like, it's weird, it's like people referencing like different voices at the same time for people who have never actually seen that like pop culture and main media. So it's kind of like they're almost referencing it without like, or like parodying something that they're actually not aware of.
My friend Hamish, I think you probably know him as well.
Hamish too?
He is talked about how people, he responds to how, you know, sometimes people will criticize like an actor's fake accent in a role and be like, oh, it's really inconsistent, switches between a Boston and New York accent or whatever. And he's pointed out that, well, that's how people talk. Like, nobody has a perfect accent, you know. They're all bastardized. They're all patchwork.
It's so true. It's so true. When I go back home to Scotland, my my Scottish accent starts to come out more, and I don't know if it's because part of me is doing it on purpose.
Yes, it's like code, you know, switching almost.
Yes, it really is. And I mean, I'm very influenced by how people talk, so I will sometimes do that thing where I will mimic without realizing. Yeah. And obviously, with my accent's already screwed up as it is, so when I start doing that, I just sound crazy. So I think that's a very fair point.
Similar with my mum, because she's Scottish, and like when she still lived in England, but would visit Scotland, you would notice that her accent would like revert somewhat while she was up
so it's
there.
a muscle memory in your brain just kind of goes,
Exactly.
okay, like, let's tap into this. Yeah.
But now she's like moved back up there permanently, and it's stabilized a lot. And I think it's a bit.
Actually, same with my mum. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost. I almost want to say it's a bit less Scottish than when she was living here but visiting Scotland.
Yes.
But it's sort of hard to say because these things happen so gradually you can't compare.
Yes. No, but I think my mum, similar thing. Like she's now back up in Scotland, and I'd say her accent has come to a more generally soft Scottish accent than it would have been before, where it would have been. So I think it's like you lean into it. I think because you're more aware of like, everyone's talking Scottish, I'm going to lean into this, when opposed to when like the novelty wears off and everyone's talking like that all the time. You're like, okay.
Where in Scotland, by the way?
Where my mum lives now, in Glenrothes in Fife.
Okay, my mum lives in Edinburgh, so like posh
okay,
Scotland,
yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not. Depending which part of Edinburgh, at least. But Fife isn't very far from Edinburgh. Yeah. So here's Mr. Bow singing. Yeah.
Whose voice is this? That's doing
this is so it's great. So Andreas or who designed it? He had a friend who so I remember we talked quite a lot about like what kind of singing voice would he have, like, you know, like what, like I mentioned before, when we would write the scenes, it'd be kind of like written like a film script, so it'd be like, okay, like Mr. Bow is fine singing, and Andreas like, okay, so what kind of voice would he have? And I was like, I didn't really think about it, and I thought it should be something deep. So it was actually a friend of Andreas, because he worked at this music, he's worked with a lot of theatre groups and stuff. And it was someone, I feel terrible because I can't remember the singer's name, but he was fantastic. He came in for a day studio and did these it was also weird because it's like, you know, it's singing, like it's basically singing sounds, as it were, to like singing words, because obviously, because you can leave it for so long, like being in this moment, and if it was like saying words, it would kind of upset it would like take the focus. So
you will also, in a game without voice acting, when you have like one bit where, and if it were words, it would be like, oh, that's...
Oh yeah, like they're singing words, exactly. Like, and we definitely had that conversation as well. So so in the end, this is basically the result we ended up with this. But yeah, it's
I think it is effective.
It was really fun. We did a couple, actually. I should have mentioned that before. That during the very first mini game, the one with you're doing the drinking game with Sue, you're doing the dancing. But all the crowd reactions, that's also us. We went into the studio also with Andres, and we did recordings of us laughing and booing and cheering. So we managed to get a few good voice acting sessions in. So that was fun.
Oh yeah, so Anders.
It
was so funny to me to learn that Sue was the school teacher.
Yes.
There's something very right about the sort of village drunkard being the school teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, and you know, there's so many, like, you know, layers to it in kind of both, because, you know, there was a bigger community on Elk at one point, but not so much now. In how you think for a teacher like Sue, like she only has the one student, and there's like your kind of identities, like, well, not identity, but your kind of like your job as a teacher, and it's kind of like, well, for the one student, it's kind of like your focus is somewhat not always going to be like working at 100%.
She's your only student, how could you forget? Yeah. Let's go learn some shit.
Yeah.
Aww. So is Anders Beth's brother?
So that's one of the because of the bottled letter.
Yes, that's where I've got that idea in my head.
Yes. So in this reality that we're playing in now, no, but in the stories that overlap between the meta ones of the real stories we were told, because the names all get mixed up as well, so that's kind of part of the fun of the confusion in it. But some of the stories we were told were overlapping where there were siblings. So there was that kind of relationship between some of them. But I mean, it creates the whole. I mean, because it's one of the things we again, like I've said, we're not afraid to be in those like kind of like, you know, in that fog of confusion somewhat, because you know it reinforces the idea of like where the stories came from and the idea of how stories are told, and like you know the ideas of like which bits feel real and which bits maybe feel a little bit, you
Yes.
know, which could have been like embellished. I think you know the idea. I'm someone I would always say that I like to embellish a good story. Like 'cause I always feel like there's always that little extra like you know thing you can kind of do to like juice it up. So I think there's a lot of that in Welcome to Rock.
Thanks, Mr. Bow. Please, just call me Mr. Bow.
Yeah. I mean, like some of the humor, some of the jokes are just like bad, like just bad jokes, which I just write. And like to me, I like they make me laugh, and that's my sign. If I laugh at it, then like you know, great.
Someone else is going to. Come on.
I mean, that's kind of that's it's like you know, not everyone will laugh at your jokes, but if I at least laugh at it, someone else is surely going to also find it funny. Like
Yeah, exactly.
by by the probability at least.
Captain Ginger.
Yeah, of course, like you know.
Pour me my smokes. I mean, this is exactly the vibe that we kind of assigned to Yeppe before, where it's just like he's just the kind of guy who's always there.
Yes, exactly.
These two's relationship with him typifies that.
Yes, exactly. Like no one would have a problem. Like you know, he's the kind of thing that no one have a bad word to say about him.
I love this line from Frigg. Like it kind of feels like the right time to get mushy about him. He just died. Yeah. We're at his wake.
and I also what I love about it is like it kind of reinforces the idea again of like you know Frigg's kind of like behavior towards it, you know, and what we're in our society. You know, the idea if you're at a funeral or kind of thing, like the way you'd be about it is like this is the way to like react at a funeral. While some other people from like different communities like maybe like, no, I mean we're here, but I want to drink. That's what my brain is, and it's like, it's not necessarily to be. Because on the one hand, of course, like, I mean, it's insensitive. At the same time, you can also be like, maybe that's just the way they deal with stuff here. Like, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of like the.
But Beth, we're all dead. Yeppe will be walking around here somewhere. Maybe you forgot what he looked like. I do that a lot sometimes. Yeah.
I like this exchange because to me it felt like Beth here in the community breaks the unspoken code of how everyone deals with Anis. It's kind of like because everyone knows, but like you know, everyone like does the thing of where they don't like you know call him out on it, and because he kind of like she does that, it feels like I think that's what it feels like. It's not like her swearing, but it's the fact that like she's kind of like trying to like bring his face to the mirror of reality. You're like, oh, that feels like harsh.
Like living on Elk in this tiny community is itself. There's like a fakeness isn't the right word, but there's almost a fantasy quality to it. Like you've got to kind of maintain that suspension of disbelief.
Yes. Like, I mean, at least it's the idea again. I mean, I was really interested in the idea of community with these characters and stuff. That, and I think that to a certain degree, there is between groups of people and friends and whatever. Like, I think people, certain things just become. I think both for problematic and good reasons. That you know, things become set in ways of like you know, it's part of narratives. You know, like. You know, this person's the person who always does this person does that, and like Anis becomes so for that community, just you know, for them to function and get along like this, basically like this is what happens. Anis is a guy who thinks we're on the afterlife, and there's no reason to change that. Like he's happy, so we all can live in that reality with him.
I remember.
I feel bad now because talking about getting a drink, and this one always makes you want to have a beer.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Oops. Deliver.
There's the little finger in the pint glass there, which gets hidden behind the speech bubbles.
Oh, that's perfect. It's not really, but whatever.
So, that's an amazing hit. Yeah, Anna was happy. It was fun. Like, we this was in our showcase that we took around to some of the physical events talked about before. It was fun seeing people really get really particular about how it should be.
Yes.
Especially when we went to Gamescom. Actually, like a German community, a lot of people were going like, oh yeah, like it should have a head on it. It should have like thing in the UK. I think we're more like I mean, kind of what you've got there, what you just made there. To be honest, we have a very kind of more set like like kind of finger.
I wanted to get like, Beth just right because she's the most on edge at the moment. I just love that Friggs is like no head, all beer.
Yeah, I just like
she's not fucking around.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was a hard because we didn't want to make people feel bad for getting it wrong. Because at the same time, even though we give the guys something to work towards, I'm pretty sure one of the lines is if you give it with no heads, if you're not supposed to, they say, "Oh, that's a worry pint," which doesn't sound. It's not so negative, but I just like the expression of it. If you gave someone to, and they're like, "That's a worry pint," and you'd feel a bit like, "Oh, okay." Yes.
This beer definitely tastes like beer.
Yeah.
Okay. She's not wrong about that.
No, absolutely not.
It is funny. I forget this guy's name, but it is.
Victor?
Yeah, like it's a good decision that he is like associated with Leroy, but we see him in these more neutral contexts as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
It almost like heightens the tension of like seeing Leroy in some way.
Yeah, because I mean, so originally in development, before the characters were all defined, but we had these antagonistic characters, particularly for one story that comes later. So I designed like the character designs that existed, but to begin with, they were both very antagonistic, but not at the extremes that Leroy was, but they were both pretty much like nasty guys, as it were, like like kind of dangerous thugs. And then as it developed, it kind of felt like, especially when we were developing more stories, and Leroy got more like pushed to levels that to drive that kind of like to collect all that bad energy. It just kind of felt like, okay, Victor's got to be more of an equilibrium. Like he has to have more humanity, because you can't have two guys. You can't have one really evil guy and one guy who's just less evil but still an asshole with like no good qualities, because then it's just like too much of a black hole.
You've got to have that conflict within that unit,
yes,
almost.
Exactly. Yes. Because I mean, at least like to tell an interesting story about humanity, or otherwise, then I mean, one of the interesting things we talked about before about the idea of was the idea of how to explore telling an anecdotal, like doing a game about building up anecdotes and stuff. And one of the things, especially when trying to find a way to string them all together to make it linear, was coming up with certain like plot lines, but then making sure that none of them stole the focus of the game. Because then, like because if you have a group of thugs, like characters which are like so defined in a way, it almost becomes about them then, rather than it like anything else. So yeah, I mean, for instance, one of the biggest things at the beginning of the development was trying to find reasons to why Frigg was coming to the island.
Yes.
And I was going through lots of like different suggestions to be like, hey, like maybe it could be this and maybe we could do that. Like one of the ones I had, which like in the hindsight now is very you can change the jukebox now.
Oh yeah.
Different songs on. Yes. There's a Velvet Underground record, like referencing the.
Oh, hello.
Yes. There you go. There's Simon.
Oh, this is I got an achievement. Shit, I didn't see this before.
Yes.
Water, please.
Yes, if you go in the pinball machine twice, and that is Simon's real phone number.
I was gonna say, like, wow, bold, doxed himself in the game.
Yeah, well, a lot of people. It's been really fun. People have texted him and messaged him. We've been giving out. I think in some cases, we definitely did this promotion where, like, when we did GDC and stuff, that we had this, and if people contacted this, they would get a free code for Spitkiss. It's a kind
Wow.
of fun extra thing. Yeah. Because it's kind of like, because on the Spitkiss machine, so it's kind of, hey, you can't get the thing working, but here you go, you can play Spitkiss.
Yeah.
So and then we had a discussion about going, like, when we actually were going to the game for launch, and it's like, are we going to do this? And we were like obviously got the assignment. Are you okay being being in the game?
You're a real member in the game.
Yeah, but it's been really fun that people have. We've had a couple of streamers who've called in.
Oh my god!
Like on stream, which has been really, really fun. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, again, it's playing with that meta. It's playing with the, having that meta layer of like, hey, like you can kind of see the strings sometimes.
Yes.
Into another dream.
It's so funny that, like, drawing parents, like, it's, it's cool that we, like, have the context to know what that means. Because if you just said drawing parents in a vacuum, you'd be like, what does that mean? Like, drawing your parents? But no, it's drawing your imagined parents.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you're trying to remember. Yeah, exactly. I just want to make a note here that I love the music for this scene. I think it just has a really nice, like, warmth, like, kind of melancholy to it. That Andreas, like, it nailed. And he did, like, he's done there's a video on YouTube that he put up about explaining the process behind this. Ooh. And the rain sound is actually frying bacon.
Oh yeah.
Which is one of those things, but I mean, I love stuff about audio design where I'm just like, I would not have thought about doing that, and I just love that it works.
Yeah, Foley's a great thing. It's a real craft, a real art to it.
Yeah. This is another, like, a bit where we tried to give a bit more of a depth to Frigg in terms of, like, like tying back to her, like, a relationship with her parents. I mean, especially these two characters who, in a way, part of their lives are defined about the with their own relationship with the parents.
Yes, like the presence and/or absence of parents.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that about Freddie specifically.
I mean, it's really fun to me as well. That her and Annis have, like, Freddie and Annis have, like, that kind of relationship and, like, a kind of friendship, and when the friendship is based around the idea of not they're probably conscious of it, but of a kind of, like, understanding of absent parents.
Yeah.
Like they in a way that they're both, like, for hanging out together, they're both kind of, like, getting that, like kind of supporting one another, even though that, Annis is a grown man, but he's someone where he, not to try and define it, but obviously he's the way his brain works, at least, is someone with a much more, like, trying to find the right word to say this. Oh, she is someone's story.
That's the story, yeah. Finish your thought.
It's on Annis, the way that he's kind of think. He's someone where the way he's thinking about the world and his kind of interaction to it. He's someone, like, to use a British expression, he's away with the fairies. But but in the sense of, but that's what the whole, like I said, mentioned before, he's the kind of cipher, the kind of person who, in a way that when we see Annis and the way he talks about stuff, he sees things in a way that, how things are, or like the magic of the things, or the way the story, that the heart of what stories are about. So I think that's a fun.
And you kind of wonder if it's like a coping mechanism or something else. You're not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Yes.
Oh, high school clubs in the chat. Right? Hello. Hi, lads.
Oh, nice. Oh, lads.
Lads, indeed.
lads.
Yeah, you've come in at a good time. I'm about to do a story reading.
It's
kind of set up this
story,
this convention now.
Yes.
Or I'll just read
I will preface this one that this one is dark.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I did read this one before, but I guess I'll remember. I remember the title. All right, so She is someone. I was working as a carpenter in Greenland. I was young at the time, and it was my first winter in the Bigd, small settlement in Greenland. Am I pronouncing that right? Is Bigd correct?
In Greenland? Bigd, Bigd? I think it's a
Bigd. Okay.
If anyone Danish is watching this,
that's close enough.
But I think Bigd, yes. Let's go with that.
Right. All days were cold and dark, and nothing like what I was used to back in Denmark. I was working all weekdays with almost no daylight. When I was hammering nails, the nails would stick to my glove because of the frost. I was constantly hungry. Every day I could easily eat a whole cake just after lunch to keep me warm and happy. I felt very alone. I was used to hanging out with like-minded young people back home. We would be going to concerts and pubs each weekend, and I always had someone to talk to. Here I had no one. There were people around me, but no real friends. I even at some point drew my own imaginary Facebook feed. There was no internet, to pretend stuff was happening. The people I spoke to were my colleagues. We were a team of about 8 men. They had seen the world, but they all came from Denmark, and by the various roads of the world ended up here in a small cold and windy Bigd on the west coast of Greenland. They were older than me and came from a different time and background. Each day we would all drive from each of our construction sites and back to the barracks to have lunch together. I was mostly quiet while eating. I didn't know what to say and how to be part of the conversation. They would occasionally speak about women in a way I felt uncomfortable with, but they were also the only people there that I could hang out with, so I never said anything against it. I probably would have today. One day during lunch, they talked about a woman they called the Goat. They had all been with her, or pretended they had. I don't know if it was her job or if she just hooked up with them, but they all made fun of her as she had a handicap that made her sound like a goat during sex. I was especially silent that day and found their jokes and treatment of this person awful. Many months later, I was on the plane back home to Copenhagen. I sat next to a young man like myself when we started talking. He worked in Denmark, but had just been back in Greenland to visit his mum. She was handicapped and needed help. She came from the same city and had the same handicap as the woman the men in the barracks had been talking about. I said nothing to the young man. I'm older now. I often think about this story. The next time, if ever, I'm in a room with people speaking about another person like this, I will say something. These people are real people and not just a story to tell for fun during lunch. Yeah, I had read that one.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting with that one that what that story is like relating to from the previous day isn't like the sort of more major event that you think of in the bar. It's that little moment out the front. I think that's a really interesting decision.
I'm glad to pick up on that because it's kind of the idea that because then it depends like on what how different ways we package the real stories. So sometimes the real stories coming into it and you're kind of like, oh, so like that was a real story, and it makes you like it again, it's kind of the whole illusion of like what is a real story and what's not a real story in that sense, or like how much is a tall tale or how much of it is new fiction. Luckily, I think this next part is a little bit more. We have a bit more of an upbeat.
A little bit less heavy, yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean,
give Frigg a break. Come on.
Yes, I'm saying that, but I'm also in my head remembering.
Just on my way to pick you up. Hope you're not feeling too fragile. Oh boy.
See, this time you didn't even get to the workshop.
Yeah.
Slowly, bit by bit, just interrupting you closer and closer to
Yeah. Because I think we haven't.
It was a definite design decision. The idea that like you always have a clear objective, but then we always like interrupt that objective.
Yes.
Like that it's never going to be like this is the thing you're going to do, and then you do it. It'll just be like because.
Here's the thing you're expecting to do, and then nope.
Yes.
Bait and switch.
No, like this. Yes.
Close the door.
Nice. Yeah, like. It's important.
I mean, especially with snow like this, Christ.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello. I want to say so.
That drawing. Oh my god.
Yes. When our artist Anne Louise, when she came on at the time, and was when we were doing this part of the game, and I was kind of okay, like, she did such a great job. Like, just the way she brought
Yeah.
this whole section to life is amazing.
To understand Mr. Bow, you need to know about his puppy, the old brewer. I don't know what accent that even is. Maybe I should stop while I'm ahead. When we started this, I did a voice for Jan just on the spur of the moment that I felt was perfect, but I can't remember what it was at all.
Oh, that's the worst thing when you're trying to get back to it.
Yeah, like when you think about it, you can't do it anymore. So I'm just gonna like spare myself the embarrassment. The old brewer said,
it sounded good.
transform our island, buying over the docks. No, you know what? No, I've got to commit to the bit. Come on. Right.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
The old brewer set out to transform our island, buying over the docks, opening a brewery, bringing in new homes, and even planning to build a railway bridge. And it wasn't just the island. The old brewer transformed his own life, getting married and gaining a son, our very own Mr. Bow. It should have been quite the happy tale. The problem was, the old brewer treated both family and business the same, hard and cruel. He drove his wife away as the construction of his super bridge stalled. Years of frustration followed as the old brewer became increasingly more foul, building a resentment for his son, Mr. Bow, burdening him with all of his father's hate. Poor Mr. Bow had to endure his father's spite, all because of his dad's failing business dealings. Mr. Bow became trapped in the crippling ambition of the old brewer. But then suddenly, one day, the old brewer was dead. A heart attack took him and left Mr. Bow a free man. He inherited all of his father's belongings, but none of his dreams. So Mr. Bow closed down the brewery and all that came with it. Escaping the shadow of his father, both Mr. Bow and the island of Elk were free to start a new chapter. I think I lapsed into like somewhere between Irish, Scottish, and Nordic there.
Yeah, it was an interesting, it was a very universal British accent.
Yeah.
Or like not British, but with the Irish as well. Yeah, like it was really
Like
nice
British
stuff.
adjacent.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. A little bit of all the flavours.
I love that he's only referred to as Mr. Bow even as a child.
Yes.
And even as a child, he doesn't look any different. He's just got a smaller body.
But in this, in terms of the reference and stuff. So like Astrid, like she knew a guy called Mr. Bow. I think and it was someone she met when she was traveling, and this guy would only refer to himself as Mr. Bow. Like completely different thing, but just the concept that someone would just be like, "That's my name." Like,
Yeah.
No other, thing to it. It's just Mr. Bow.
Not Bow, Mr. Bow.
Mr. Bow, exactly. For me, it was really important as well with the writing that it's not like a Mr. like an MR, that it's a
Yes, you've got to spell it out.
Yes. And that's our artist and Louise Goldfarb.
God, he does it. Oh my God. Okay, don't let me see the JCB then.
You have to wait till next time, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I think I wanted for you to come in, make yourselves at home. No need to get bogged down in the rigmarole of work so hastily. Frigg's never going to be able to do any work, is she?
No.
God.
You see, he's got the most lavish house on Elk.
Oh my God, I love the Gelk, the stuff, the taxidermied Gelk, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Have you ever played golf?
Artist Dennis, who worked on it, and like he put that in there, and it was just such a great touch. I loved it.
Connecting. Why, it's the perfect chance to strike business deals. Oh God. Okay.
The idea, like everything from Mr. Bow is like it's playing like what do you like playing dress up, like he's just like or make believe, so he's kind of like almost like playing as his dad.
Yes, like I was gonna say, even though he like, oh God, okay.
So you're playing with keyboard. So keyboard, the only weird thing with keyboard is that it will move it automatically for you.
Yes. No, I don't know if this is intended behavior, but I like realized my angle was off once I started charging the power, so I started pressing the other arrow key, and it's letting me change it a little.
And then you can change it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Because I always play it in because so if you play it for joystick, for instance, then you can do it with the analog.
Oh, okay.
Keyboard, it was too difficult with like to get that kind of gradient. So then it was kind of okay, like it would kind of give you nice.
Smashing it.
I don't know if you played What the Golf, but this is a loving tribute to What the Golf, because
is there a reason that the arrow is now coming from the flag on the pole?
So if you haven't played What the Golf, you'll find out.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna.
Once you, it's also fun hitting the toe, so I'll say that as well.
Okay, that's pretty good. Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. I was wondering if that was what I was meant to be doing, but I decided to play it straight at first.
No, it's just that's great. It's fun because obviously we forget that if you haven't played, if you play What the Golf, then a lot of people are like, okay, and if you haven't played What the Golf, then it's like people's first time seeing this kind of version of golf, and they're like, what is happening? What?
Yeah.
But it's also perfect that Mr. Bo has this in his back garden.
Yeah. Oh, nailed it.
Nice. Yeah.
Pure skill. Pure skill.
I think this is the hardest one because it's just like.
Okay. Okay, I think I just vaporized that ball. Oh, nearly.
Perfect. Yes. Very interesting. We were saying before that there was no fail states, but this is probably one of the. Is this the only game that has like some kind of form of? Well, that's not necessarily true. This is one of the, but it's one of the few games in it where there's you have to actually perform the action to carry on.
Yeah, but he won't. Mr. Bo won't tell you off if you take too long or anything.
No, absolutely no. He'll just kind of keep giving you encouraging responses.
I think I was in the middle of a thought right before I started playing. Oh yeah, it was that
Right.
like, so you said that he's like sort of playing acting his dad or something, or
yes,
something like that. I was going to say, like, even though we've established from that story that he did not have a kind relationship with his father and was happy to be shot of his legacy, when you're growing up in an environment like that, you will still pick up traits, even if it's like a really terrible relationship like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for him as well, like part of the whole posturing that he doesn't, like I said before, we saw the celebration for his dad, that he's not one to, he won't speak out of turn because he doesn't think that's proper to do. Like there's a whole act of playing, like, the whole playing that he is going through things that I think even it won't be a conscious thought that I am trying to be like my dad or something like that, but I think it's just more, he's just playing, he's just enjoying wearing different kind of like, like identities as it were, or like being in that play space. In some ways he's quite similar to Anders in that way. I think he's just a bit more, he's more self-aware than Anders.
Oh boy, Frigg is bursting.
Yeah.
Is she actually going to get to do some woodwork? I'm going to get to look at all the stuff in this.
Yes.
Murray's poster. Let me guess.
Yes. Yes, that's the poster I did.
Amazing. I love it. I actually completely love it.
It's an old, like because we would put Easter, like, things in it. So we're like, okay, I'll put like an old,
That is a cool surname. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I took a dig at myself. I thought I'll give myself props for the surname at least. But there's a little reference to Queen.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah, family portrait. Yeah.
The Mr. Family, Jesus. Okay, I don't know where Jan wanted us to go, but okay, it was probably here. Well, I'm going to look around.
Yes.
I'm going to do anything except the thing I meant to do first.
Yes, I think that's fun.
The standard video game practice.
The one working toilet in Elk.
Wow.
Everyone else
Okay.
is an outhouse.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Of course. The indoor toilet. Amazing advancement.
Yes.
Oh wow. Oh, I know what this is.
Yes.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it's really fun to put that in there. Yeah. And
Wow,
you can see that.
wow.
I don't know if you picked it up, but I don't know if you can see that there's other people who are living with Mr. Bow. I don't know if that's clear enough or not.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like either Mr. Bow has very disparate personalities, or there's other people here, or these are very old broken bottles. But
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, he has guests who live with him on the island. Ones that you've already met.
Okay. Oh, I believe they mention it in the first
Yes,
conversation we had.
but
Isn't it?
it's kind of subtle, like subtle in a way, but then it's kind of like more.
Yeah, it's not like a full topic of conversation. It's just mentioned offhand, like,
yes.
"Oh, we got to get back to Mr. Bowes," or "Where these two are my guests," or something.
Exactly.
It's Victor and I think
Maud.
Yes, Maud.
Leroy. Oh, and
yeah.
Yes. Look, Roberta has to find to do something.
It's a very tragic story, and it's a very sad story, but in some ways it's also has a bit of we need to make some kind of mini game based on the story of the frozen man from my dad. If we put Frigg in a situation where she has to carry Jeppe, and we do that in a beautiful way where Frigg sort of, where Frigg is able to reflect upon Jeppe as a person. That could be.
But maybe that's actually pretty good, because I think like carrying also gives us some kind of perspective that's good. Like because in this, the way I understand the story is like they find Jeppe, they're frozen, and they look down on him like straight the eyes, basically, right? And I think that's kind of like a very important moment for the story, a very important experience that we want the player to have. So if Rick will have to carry him, she kind of has to get up close, and we can kind of maybe get that experience for her as well.
Like we could do it first person, as opposed to, at least when we talked about the writer and stuff. One thing is that as much as we love the way the characters move, maybe that's going against the grain of what we want to do.
You see Jeppe's face and Rick's hands. Down on him.
I think that would be very powerful.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a ritual.
Maybe it's like a ritual, yeah.
Because a ritual is always like a standard set of actions that you kind of do to acknowledge, like to do something, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Frick will be lifting the head, and Jan will be lifting the.
So they won't be fully carrying.
Yeah.
Geez, okay. Having spoken earlier about if you have a moment where there's real spoken words, it's like whoa, you really notice it.
Yes. yeah, exactly. Yes.
I was really when they came in, I was really thinking like, is that from Murray's mic, or have I got a video playing? Have I got YouTube open?
Yeah. No, it was really fun. It was one of Aston's ideas to have like these elements, because we've got this metatextual level of the storytelling in the idea that you actually hear that. So it's me, Simon, and Astrid having a conversation about the Frozen Man, the Epic game, which is one of the ones there was an interesting design decision on how to turn that into gameplay.
Yeah.
So then putting that into there, and then as we find out that there's nothing inside it.
She's not going to get to fix this cupboard issue.
No, of course no. And I even loved it, like we coloured the little toolbox and everything.
Yeah, you really bait the player.
Yes. I mean, Mr. Bow, she's like, let's go have a beer. And like, you've come all the way here and you've done nothing.
Yes.
Everything's done very slowly in terms of I think I mean, things must get done at some point.
In theory, yeah. I mean, Jan's somehow making this boat. Off screen.
I mean, you're not with him all the time, so obviously, whenever he's not with Frigg, he's making it.
What value does a cupboard door have when compared to quality time spent with friends?
See, there you go. True life lesson.
Well then.
Yeah.
Where is this? Oh, okay, we're still up here. Alright, I'm gonna go look at that, Earth mover. Yeah.
Yes.
Look, it's coloured. I know what that
Yes.
means.
It gives you a little,
Yeah. I love the rust detail.
No, unfortunately, no GTA driving in it though. But
It makes you think, like, all of the other vehicles look in much better nick, but this one's like, obviously it's the fact that it's rusted, but none of the others have like a rust texture on them or anything. Makes you wonder.
How long has it been there, or
Exactly, like, or what's it? Has it seen use?
exactly.
To the others.
Like, for a while.
I mean, this one with the fire on it. Come on, this has never driven more than like 20 feet.
No, of course not. No.
It's the fire. Oh, it's the fire truck. Yeah, I like this fires. Yes. Yeah, come on.
yeah. But it's also fun the idea that Mr. Bo said when he has all of these vehicles, kind of stuff like that. But it's just like for what?
It's Playboy
like,
stuff
purpose,
almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's very.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea if this is a reference you will appreciate, but it's very King Kai in Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, I mean that's yeah.
It's like you've got approximately 10 feet to drive in, dude.
Yes, exactly. But like but if you want the car,
it's also fun. It's still fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I don't want to be discriminated against. Like, why can't you get a car? So it's like, yes, it's very much that's an absolutely fantastic reference. I love it.
I'm never going to miss a chance to reference Dragon Ball, honestly.
Yes, perfect. Yeah.
I've been drinking like every day. Okay, gonna close the door this time. Maybe she's been getting a head cold. I'm beat. Sure did a whole lot of nothing today.
Yeah. I mean, she played some golf.
She did. That's the thing. I was thinking, like, are we gonna get 2 mini games today? Like, wow. Of course we're not. Hey, you're that guy. Of course he's Anders' friend.
Yes.
I'm definitely not going to ever do a voice for Astrid's dad. That would feel
that
would feel actually disrespectful.
I mean, I guess after it's hard once you've seen him like talk.
Yeah.
It's definitely trickier.
Story time. Oh, okay. Another beat. I see how it is.
And then yes, yeah. That old classic.
Today no more beer. Okay,
Because I feel like if that was, I mean that was me in a very like realistic response. I'd be like, if I was in her situation, I'd be like trying to think, what's the pattern to these dreams?
Yes.
What's making me do this? And I'd be like, okay, well I've been drinking the beer here, so maybe that's why.
I mean, who knows what's in that Nolan beer, man?
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's definitely old as well.
Meet Mr. Bo. All right, story time. Meet Mr. Bo. Let's talk about Mr. Bo. Mr. Bo is one of a kind, a man who doesn't just generate one story, but hundreds, even if most are probably rumours. It would be true to say Mr. Bo has a lot. He lives in a big house full of expensive bits and bobs. He owns a bar, which he only opens when he wants to hang out with friends. He even has his own fire engine. He allegedly bought it so he could have his own fire brigade and help protect the island. However, people suspect that it might have more to do with the fact that having your own fire brigade sounds pretty cool and means that you get to wear a red jacket pinned with old medals you found at a flea market, something Mr. Bo enjoys doing frequently. But Mr. Bo is also generous. He loves to play the piano and sing, and all are welcome to join when he does. At his bar, he welcomes everyone with a smile and a free beer, whether they're rich or poor. At Mr. Bo's bar, it's a pay-what-you-want arrangement, and usually the locals never really pay with anything other than their presence and good stories, unless they lose in a card game, that is. Among the visitors of Mr. Bo's bar, it's theorised that he opened it so he would never feel alone, but instead be surrounded by people who like him and have great thoughts about him. But how could Mr. Bo have a free bar, a big house, and his very own fire brigade? You see, Mr. Bo is very rich because his dad, Mr. Nolan, was very rich. Mr. Nolan made it big selling beer with his own brewery on the island. In fact, the old man owned everything through that beer, employing most of the locals and building up shops and a school when before there was nothing. But as amazing as it all looked, and as popular as Mr. Nolan was for what he was doing for the island, there was a hidden evil under the surface. A cruel man, and his son knew it most of all. The young Mr. Bow feared his dad, as he was sure to get a beating from him daily. His father was a petty man, and as Mr. Bow would grow and become older, Nolan would get more nervous that one day his son would be able to stand up to him and get revenge for his many years of tyranny. Preempting any sort of rebellion, he locked up poor Mr. Bow in a shed. Mr. Bow would sit alone in that dark, small shack. How long he lived there he can't really remember, but he didn't spend his time planning for a revenge. Instead, to keep his mind occupied, he would dream of all the nice things in life, like having a big house all to yourself, doing something important like being a fireman, or always having friends around you. Then, one day, unexpectedly, Mr. Nolan died of illness, which meant Mr. Bow was finally released from his prison. He was suddenly a free man, free from the shed and free from his father's cruelty. It's said that the people on the island often feel guilty about Mr. Bow's tragic childhood. Many claim not to have known, but maybe they just chose to turn a blind eye because they had jobs and money, in big part thanks to Mr. Nolan. The aftermath, of course, was that Mr. Bow was an only child and therefore the sole benefactor of his father's inheritance. After years of living with nothing, he suddenly had everything. He didn't care about his father's legacy of the brewery, so he closed that. Instead, he got to have all the nice things in life, having a big house, being a fireman, and opening a bar to be welcomed by all his friends, old and new. And he would welcome them all there with open arms. Okay. That story, especially the bit about having a bar where he invites all his friends, really smacks of a bit from The Office that Hamish Steele has told me about, where Michael Scott says that the reason he as a kid he wanted to be a boss because then he'd have a lot of people who had to be his friend and they wouldn't be able to say no.
Yes, yeah. Wow, but I mean, yes, I think there's definitely a part to that which is true in the sense of that, you know, I think that I think that there's obviously this is all crazy things, that true story that there is there was a character, this person that, you know, who was his larger than life character, and he did become popular and friendly because he it wasn't like he was giving stuff to people, but he had in his possession stuff which drew people to him, coming to a bar where you can pay your own stuff, right, and hang out in with the
he was providing something for the community.
Yes, exactly. So in that kind of sense, I think it's a spot on kind of analysis. It's fascinating hearing about the real story about this guy that this story is based on in how that he had this cruel father kind of stuff, but how in turn when he got this inheritance, and he just use it for an eccentric way of just going, yeah, I'm just gonna just do this fun stuff. I'm just gonna I'll get a fire engine and I'll have my own fire brigade.
I mean, it definitely makes him more sympathetic. I mean, you didn't dislike him previously, but now you're like, oh. I mean, he at least turned the legacy of his crappy upbringing into some kind of warmth for other people.
Yes. Although I will always say that it's definitely subtext, but one of the interesting things about it, where if you think about it in terms of there was, especially in to this island, that there was a community, and there was more people living here, and there was business and jobs, and now Mr. Bow, in his own self-preservation, by kind of closing down the brewery, for instance, that basically ended that industry and the jobs.
Yes.
So it's an interesting. And I think no one in the community, no one here begrudges that kind of stuff. But I think there's that kind of idea of, oh no!
Oh no!
Just this time there was furniture out on the floor.
Yeah, we actually. Oh no! It's Anders. Oh jeez. Oh no, Clumbin. Oh jeez.
I always say that from feedback from audiences, I would say that this section has had probably the most Oh, we'll talk about it after, like, as we're
I
going
mean, it's like it's animal, like.
Yes, animals really, but I always find it interesting because, like, you know, you had like Yeppe, like that whole bit for me, but then it's like at least up to this point, but then like the Clumbin, like I've got some definitely interesting development talk I can give about this section. It was very interesting process.
Let's head over then.
Joe's done a shout out to the American office.
Yes, I figured if Joe were here, he would appreciate that.
I feel like
The Office is something I really... It's weird, because, like, I remember hearing, like, a long time ago, like, as a kid almost, that, you know, oh, the American Office is shit, the English one's much better, but now all my friends who've watched both are like, no, the English Office is really bad.
Oh, wow, okay, they even turned around that way, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, Ricky Gervais being in it is maybe a contributing factor, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think he's
got a tainted legacy.
Yes, exactly. And his personality is so strong in it, but it's kind of hard to like interact with that media without having to like interact with like Gervais.
Oh, gee. Is her colour different? Was she pink before? Or was he pink before?
Pink.
Oh my god.
So I thought, like, how do you make a rabbit look sick without, you know, like drawing it completely, like,
Just,
you know,
yeah.
draw it green?
Don't make any sense, Jan. Don't make any sense. Jan. Don't make any sense, Jan. Don't make any sense at all. How can Clumber be dying? Nothing here can be dying. We already did all the dying. Right, Anders. Right. It's just that, well, it's, Anders, what we want to say is... What? What are you trying to say? Is, that Clumben is ready for the second afterlife. Second? The second afterlife? Wait. There's more than one? Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what Frigg said. Right. Yes. What Frigg said. You see, there's just lots of afterlives. And yeah, Clumben is just ready to move on now. That's all there is to it. Second afterlife. Yeah. A second afterlife. Of course. Thank you, Frigg. No problem, Anders. Seriously. It all makes sense. That must be where Yeppe was leaving to and why Beth got mad. Well... And that must be why I can't find my parents here. They must be in the second afterlife. Wow. I finally get it. Well, let's just say for sure Clumben is ready for the second afterlife. That I know. Right. Of course. You know, Anders, why don't you go out and look for some pretty rocks for Clumben? You know, for her journey. Meanwhile, me, Jan, and Frigg could help Clumben get to the, second afterlife. You would all do that for Clumben? Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, what? Don't worry, we can take care of it. Of course we'll help Clumben go to the next afterlife. Maybe you want to say goodbye first? Goodbye, my Clumben. You have truly been a ghost's best friend. I'm gonna miss you so much. But I'll see you in the second afterlife. Isn't that exciting? There's a second afterlife. So, I'll see you soon. That was lovely, Anders. I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go find the prettiest rocks. Bye, Anders. Jeez.
Yeah. When you said the power of the white lie.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, I can't...
So you can see where they're going with it, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, so Frigg's gonna have to fucking do it, isn't she? Oh no. Can you please put down this beloved rabbit?
I mean, it's one of those things as well, like, you know, you have these two, like they'd be kind of like paternal over you, both like Jan and Ingrid, but in this one scene where it's just like, hey, so we know you've been through all this other stuff, but we don't want to do this, can you help us do it? And you're just like, oh my god. I mean, that's the one problem with game design, like with this thing, that to have the player always have agency in what's going on, like story-wise, you have to kind of keep finding ways for Frigg to be the one to do it. and now they're discussing ways to. What's the best way to do it? That's definitely not the best way to do it.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, I was thinking, like, are they really going to make me do it? Are they... Oh, wow.
You can refuse.
Jesus.
You can refuse. And that was directly because of the feedback we had from the beta testing, where we had two of our testers came back and said, I just hated that I had to do it. Like, because it is, again, it's obviously based on a true story, this. Astrid and the brother... Astrid, like, the rabbit was sick and they couldn't get to the vet, and they were like, okay, the rabbit's sick. And in Denmark as well, especially, the culture is a lot more like, hey, like, if the thing needs to be doing, you do it.
Yeah.
So,
the thing is, I had a housemate who had a rabbit who got, very sick, and he was able to go to the vet, but he never really recovered. He was just kind of progressively more sick until he died. So in other circumstances, maybe I'd refuse here, but I think we do need to humanely put down this rabbit.
Yes. Well, that was one thing I've seen some people, I can't remember where I read it, but I saw a thread or someone talking about where it's like, these people are terrible, like, why are they not waiting to see if the rabbit gets better? Like, it just got sick. Don't.
It's not going to get... Rabbits are so fragile. Like, yes, they will die if you, put them on their back wrong. And that's not even a joke.
Yeah. No, like, unfortunately, my brother's rabbit died in my care, so from my own personal experience, yes, I didn't do anything. I'll point out, it was just
it just got like, if a rabbit just like, if a rabbit gets sick and in 2 days, if you don't give it care, it could be dead, because if they stop eating for a day or more, their gut just stops working entirely and their whole body shuts down.
Wow.
Like, it's not like a cat or a dog. Like,
how did it go for a while? Yeah.
I mean, I guess I just gotta rip off the Band-Aid, right?
Yes.
Oh my god, are you fucking shitting me?
It's a press. No, you've got to...
I've got to actually hold it down and do it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And the guitar music as well is just... But it comes to black. There's no...
That's still really raw.
Yeah. So this is the one scene in most of the game where people have just been if people... And it's funny, I don't know if it's just being a developer on it, where I don't feel, compared to the other moments in the game, I feel... I don't feel as, cut up about this section as I do other parts, but I find it really interesting, people's reaction. A lot of people have very we've streamers have cried playing this bit.
Yeah, I bet.
They're just they're just say, I don't want to do it, and which is, I mean, because part of the real story, the thing we're telling about, that was the reaction, when that is it will be. I won't go to this bottle story for it, actually, but. Yeah, but I mean, it was definitely, for me, it was an interesting part of this, with the game development, or with that beta testing, where it was one of the bits where, okay, because we're doing these true stories, you have agency, you're kind of exploring that perspective in a way through the gameplay of that story, but we had to give the option of refusing, because for some people, that close-up, that agency of it was too strong.
Yeah.
This is too raw for me, which, of course, you have to respect when you get that feedback, because I mean, it's we want people to be a part of these stories. We don't want to make people suffer. So
just pick up the body, Jan.
You've got gloves.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, you've got no excuse.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's funny how, 'cause I do that as well. Where I think in hindsight, going back into it, I wish I could kind of just open up the path, because you instinctively kind of want to go shortcut.
Too used to coming from the House Friggers Inn rather than from Anders Cave.
Yes.
So the route isn't quite as familiar. Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, and it's a new character. And there's no Bobby. Oh god. Oh no. You ain't even gonna say hello? Now, Leroy. That ain't no way to talk to a lady. Well, my fucking apologies. I didn't take you for such a fucking gentleman. Pay them no mind. They're just lacking manners. Hey, wait, I didn't do nothing. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Ren. Hi, I'm Frigg. Nice to meet you, Frigg. Say, would you join us for a drink? I promise we're not what you think. I'd definitely rather not. But this new guy seems okay. And Jan and Ingrid shouldn't be too long. Okay, I was going to have a beer anyway. Great. We're in desperate need of some prettier company. Sure. So you're new to the island? You're quick to notice. Yes, I'm the new ferry driver, living on the mainland, but I'm getting a feel for my new roots. Appreciating all the new sights. You see, Ren's an old acquaintance there, pal. He got the job after old Captain Ginger froze his balls off, innit? That's not funny. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse Leroy. He's a bit too rough. Not me, though. I'm a gentle touch. Wait, what? Look, Ren, a young pretty thing like that needs a rough hand. That's your problem, Leroy. Always too eager to spoil the goods. Hey, what the fuck? Now, no need to be offended. We're just complimenting your looks. You are very pretty after all. Too right she is. Cut it out. Come on, sweetheart, you must be awfully lonely. Let's me and you get out of here and become fast friends. Hey, I saw her first, Ren. Gotta wait your turn. No. Hey. What the fuck, Victor? Now you speak up? You already got a woman. You want a turn? Fine, but you go last. What? No. I think that, Wow, look at that, Leroy. Looks like your brother is trying to form a thought all on his own for once. No, fuck this. Fuck you, Ren. I've never fucking liked you. Just leave the girl alone. Jesus. Fucking same old Victor. Always trying to be a fucking white knight, ain't you? Please, Leroy, just leave her be, okay? Or else what? I ain't gonna move out of the way. Oh, fuck this shite. Come on, Ren. Fuck, talk about same old. Still won't lift a hand to your brother there, Leroy. How about I do it for you? Best not raise a hand against my own blood there, Ren. Let's just fucking get out of here. The drink is piss anyway. That's twice now someone's interrupted us. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're being a tease. I guess third time will be the charm, eh? You. We'll talk about this later. You better fucking know it. Well, I'd say it's been a pleasure. If cut a little prematurely. I'll just see myself out. Victor, thank you. Yeah, well, Marge would have given me shit for it. Right. Look, I'm no good at this stuff. I'm just gonna go. Just be careful or whatever. Or don't. I don't care. Okay, yeah, sure. Well, thanks again. Yeah, well, you're welcome. Jesus Christ. Fucking shit. Yeah, ugh.
This was a really, really, really hard scene to write, and I think it's only because of the benefit. I mean, like, because we have like a mixed team. Obviously, we're writing with Astrid as well. Just having that different perspective, but you know, because obviously I'm being a straight man, kind of stuff that trying to capture. Yeah, it's.
I really had to. I kind of lucked into Victor's voice there, I think. And Ren's, actually. I was like, oh Christ, new character. But yeah. I think I got his vibe.
No, you did really good reading. Yeah. You got the like this bit. This is Astrid's mum.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I was presuming as much. For a time, I was a teacher in a big bicht in Greenland. It was an interesting but somewhat lonely experience. I didn't mind too much. I enjoyed keeping my own company and going out for long walks. While I was out, sometimes I'd cross paths with a friend, driving back on his commute home. We would drive back to the village together, giving me a rare chance for some conversation. On one particular day, he invited me to a Christmas dinner with his friends. It wasn't like I had any other plans, so I agreed and we headed there together. I would soon regret my decision, as the dinner consisted of just men and me as the only woman. The atmosphere was awkward and the conversation stunted. There wasn't much to say or share. But as they drank more, the men became emboldened, rude, and inappropriate. They were intensely focused on me, with their leery, staring eyes. I felt unsafe and trapped. Suddenly, a fist slammed down on the table. "Leave her alone or answer to me," roared my friend. The men froze, looking sheepish. Their ugly spell had broken, and luckily, I was able to leave. Oof.
That was drawn by Astrid's mum as well.
Yeah. Well, at least she managed to escape the booze this time. That scene's interesting because it touches on it. Kind of, I had a thought in my head earlier when discussing Victor and Leroy about how valuable it was to have that contrast between them, where you feel like there's gonna be a point in the story where Victor's gonna have to make a choice. Is he gonna be pulled along by his brother, or is he gonna stand up to him?
Exactly.
We've now seen, at least for one part, what his decision there is, but God knows what the repercussions are going to be.
But I'm glad you put it exactly in terms of the building up of that character. It was very important, especially when we had this part in mind, how that came out. It was that's just again.
Yeah.
But
this is my teacher.
Teacher Andrew. There's that line of I can have more than one teacher, and you're like, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say no to that. Okay. It's somewhere else. It's a special place. Okay. Special friends. We can all visit. I was trying to figure out who the two people in the center were that she'd drawn. I wasn't sure that the one with the beard, the bushy beard and hair, was Yeppy because it was the wrong color. But
yes, I can say that will be.
Yes, I assume it's not arbitrary and that there is actually.
No. Yes. It'd be fun if it was. If it was just she's a kid, she just didn't have the right color.
So I just got the Killing Clumben achievement. Do you not get that if you refuse?
No, you still will. It's Killing Clumben is the name of the bottle story. So
makes sense.
It's in that sense. We definitely wouldn't penalise people for
penalise you for. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I made the argument why it wouldn't be the humane choice to spare Clumben.
Yes,
again, I do not know what happens if you choose that option. I don't even know if I'm a person who did a No Mercy run in Undertale, but I don't know that I have the heart to go back and save Scum and see what the other options in that part of the game do. Ugh. Okay. Let's read Killing Clumben.
Okay.
Killing Clumben. I had promised my friend Asta that her rabbit Clumben would be in good hands while she lived in the US for some months. We had 3 rabbits in total, Jim 7, Ponyo, and Clumben. They all lived in nice cages that Asta had built for them at the university garden. It was winter, and the rabbits were all fluffy and winter furry, but Clumben wasn't feeling well. She would just sit there in the corner getting more and more sad and tired. I called Asta, telling her that we would have to put her down, and I would take her to the vet on Monday. But when Sunday came around, Clumben was doing even worse and I felt terrible. The best thing to do was to put her down right then and there. I grew up in the country, so don't judge me, when on this sunny Sunday morning I thought it would be best if I just took care of Clumben's misery myself. First thing I did was to call my dad. He knows how to do these things. He suggested putting Clumben in a box and in a plastic bag tied to the exhaust of a car. Clumben would die in a peaceful way. So I called my brother Lauger and asked him to bring over a car, which he did. But he brought an electrical one, which would only do the job if we drove over Clumben, and that was definitely not the plan. We took Clumben in the box to Lauger's workshop. Here he had a real car. In the backyard of the workshop, we tied the box with Clumben inside to the exhaust of the real car, turned on the engine, and waited. We carefully opened the box after 20 minutes, but Clumben was still alive, maybe a bit high, but definitely not dead. Lauger then remembered his car had one of those environmental filters on the exhaust, so we decided to take Clumben to the basement to try and find another way of ending her misery. Being very unsure on how to do this in a humane way, we turned to YouTube, and after watching several videos of rabbits getting killed in various effective ways, we decided that we would hit her over the neck with a metal stick. It looked fast and easy. But who to do it? Both of us were nervously tiptoeing in circles around the poor rabbit lying helpless on the floor. I argued that Lauger did not know her, therefore it would be easier for him, while he said I was the rabbit caretaker and therefore I should do it. The truth was, we were both cowards. I don't know how long we must have been in that basement with poor sick Clumben, but Lauger's partner Frigg called and said there was lasagna ready at home. Hours must have passed by now, so I was confident I was ready to do the deed. I just had to visit the toilet to be sure I would not pee in fear when killing Clumben. While in the toilet, I heard a short thump noise, and when I came out, Clumben was now very much dead, and Lauger was very much covered in blood. I stood there, open-mouthed, as he looked at me and said, "I'm getting very hungry now. Let's go home." I've no idea if I pronounced the name correctly. Lauger.
Lauger? Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Oh,
Lauger,
nailed it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, completely.
That's what we're here for. That's
story is
interesting
rabbit.
that there's a character in it named Frigg. We've dealt with like names being swapped around before in these stories, but that's an interesting one.
Yes, yeah,
And
that's
it's an
very
interesting
true.
one that
Yeah,
Frigg is like the kind of outsider in that story as well. Just comes in towards the end to say, "Oh hey, dinner's nearly ready."
Yes, it's definitely the whole sharing of names as well. Like it's super interesting because in some ways it's definitely not like so. Like, Lauger's girlfriend is called Frigg, but it's not that this Frigg is her.
No, yeah.
But at the same time, there is that like with the name, like in terms of like name and that kind of. So there's definitely the fun thing of how things kind of overlap or like have that like feeling of I mentioned this last time, but like of just the constant like stretching of tall tales and things kind of overlapping. So like still always got the heart of story at its center, but the details are where it all goes a bit blurry.
God, the snow's finally gone. Jesus.
Yes.
I came out and I was like, something's wrong.
Yes.
The way in that story that the dying rabbit is described is very that's very close to how like my housemate's rabbit was when he was on the way out. He was not euthanized. He literally died just like lying on her like stomach while she was just lying on the couch with him. That was actually a really distressing time because I just like we had been seeing him like deteriorate over time. And I was just in my room and I hear like wailing from downstairs and I go down and she's just she's like utterly beside herself saying that he's not responding, he's not moving, and she's just holding this fucking limp rabbit like completely out of her mind. And I was just like, I'm sorry, that's it, he's dead. Like, oh god. He was an absolute star rabbit as well, like could not meet a nicer animal.
I remember my brother, before his rabbit, like he had guinea pigs. I remember when the guinea pigs were both sick and she took them to the vet, and as we were waiting in the vet and waiting when one of them died in my mum's hands. So just the idea before you even get to the vet, just dying then, it's just like, yeah.
It's, okay. Wow.
So yeah,
of course we're going to the cemetery.
Yes. But I feel bad because I mean, like I wasn't much of a pet person myself. Me and Daisy had a cat, but the cat is now living because obviously when Daisy moved here to Copenhagen, she's so old we couldn't bring her here, so she's now living her later years with friends. But like she's still alive, so I guess. Yeah.
Oh, it's Mr. Bow, of course.
Yeah.
Crump and the rabbit, of course. Wow. Okay, I guess we're going to Mr. Bow's for more drinks.
Yes. Yeah. more Crump in his wake.
Wait, am I going the wrong way? Yeah, I am.
A little bit bird sound in the background.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is one of the few times there's not been music, just like sound design.
It's a little bit of this because after seeing the graves, that just a little bit of like space to kind of be.
Yes, exactly that. Oh, hello.
You can see the flowers.
Of course they're plastic. Of course they are.
Oh, Mr. Bow.
So glad you could make it. I trust you found my note. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any excuse for a party. Yes.
Bowman. Is she the only person who gets away with calling him that?
I think anyone could. I think no one else would be so disrespectful to do it.
Yeah, but he probably wouldn't like say a word against it either. Actually.
Yeah, no. But yes. If you said it, I think if you said it with enough conviction,
yes.
I think you would just be like, okay.
Oh, they're talking about Leroy, aren't they?
Mm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm starting to connect. I mean, I've seen like a promo screenshot with this like it has like Beth and Leroy in it, and Beth is saying, "Please leave my family alone," and I'm like,
yeah.
I've been like waiting for that moment to come up, and I'm thinking I'm seeing where it's going to be now.
Yeah, you're seeing the strands come together now. Yes.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, and Marge and Mr. Bow were talking about it. Okay. Worried when we didn't see you at the bar yesterday. I think Frigg was a little more worried when she didn't see anyone at the bar yesterday.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I know. Like the naivety as well, definitely sometimes like. But again, I think that's the thing. I think
it's like it makes it like I was also thinking how you come into the bar and like it's not populated the way it normally is. That's like a
yes.
It's jarring, you know. You've only ever seen it with a bunch of people milling around. So.
Exactly, yeah, and usually in somewhat of a good mood, right? Like there's usually some kind of sense of like something bubbling or like going on, but yeah.
I was going to say, well, Leroy isn't here yet, but I think we'd know if he were.
He's hiding somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, he's upstairs.
Well, if you go upstairs, I guess you'll find out.
I mean, yeah.
I will at least like say that you'll be safe.
There's got to be a bar where everyone meets in the next afterlife too. I am wondering if like Anders is going to take the second afterlife like thread somewhere dark, but I mean I guess we'll see. Like maybe he gets a bit too eager to meet Yeppy and Clumben and his parents.
That's interesting that you've putting that kind of stuff together.
I mean I definitely like have a slightly morbid imagination, so that is
but I mean it's it's certainly interesting.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go shout. So there's 2 mini games he played at this party. In both of them, we had an intern, Mikkel, who joined us, who was studying like sound design, but was also interested in designing programming. He actually created both these mini games, design them and program them and stuff, and it was really awesome. He did a really cool job.
Yeah,
So,
this has like a different feel to it. It's quite impressive.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
like almost some physics to it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna
Just enough to kind of make it feel like kind of fun.
let's make it slightly asymmetrical.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. I always do that when I do it. Like when I love this one, I'm always like playing around with it. It's very just going like, yeah, I'm just gonna like.
Oop. Oh well. I didn't actually
no,
mean to
sorry.
do that, but whatever.
Yeah,
Got a half-baked
I was
ball.
watching it going, and I was like, I wonder if that's a thing that happens. And I'm like, it probably does.
I've really got no one to blame but myself.
No, but I mean, it was an expressionistic bar.
Yes.
It had
It's a grower.
Minimalist chart. Yeah, it was a bit minimalist
Yes.
farm.
Oh, hello. Game, you say?
Mm.
Ah, okay. So Bobby's actually away. Gelk stack. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was wondering. Obviously, this is another thing I've seen in promo screenshots.
Yes.
I'm like, when's the Gelk card game gonna
When
come?
Which is great because I think the original name of it, so as I mentioned, they put internally made this. It was called Beer Stack, and then we were deciding how to bring it into the game, and then I was just like, what was Gelk Stack?
Yeah.
What is this Gelk? And I was just like, yeah, of course it is. Like, yeah, I'll see her. So the one definite game with a fail state, you can lose this, but you are allowed to play again afterwards. That's the nice thing.
Yes. Oh, I'm looking at. Is that Sue's hand that has like the sort of scarring on the knuckles?
No, that's Victor's.
Ah.
He's got like
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yes.
Pass cards, pass +1, -2.
It's a little bit like,
Yeah. Okay. Let's just throw in the 2. I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, nice. That's one right. What are you doing? That's bad.
So we're on 5. I think putting 2 here is safe. Ooh.
Oh.
Oh, I had a pass. I had 2 passes saved up. Well, I mean, I don't know if
you're good.
I figure pass +1 adds 1 while also being a freebie for you, maybe.
So the plus one, yeah. So it adds 1 while passing as well. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Crushing it.
nice. It's fun because the game is slightly broken, but in a fun way. The fact is,
Yeah, it's like one of those things where there's definitely states where, like, there'll be states where you know that it's unwinnable or unlosable.
Yes. Absolutely.
But
Like,
the variance of like having, unknown, like you've got randomly dealt hands and you don't know what people have in their hands, kind of breaks it up a bit.
But the thing that drives me mad is every time I play Nickel now, who designed it, like he always wins, and I'm like, but how are you always winning? It feels like it's random, but somehow he just does, and I'm like, that's always what screws in my head. I'm like, but that shouldn't make sense.
Oh, a -2, eh? Alright.
Nice.
Oh, you with your -2s, come on. I've only got so many passes.
Oh no, that's what you got.
Okay. Clutch. That's what that is.
Okay, but it's Sue's out though. That you're down.
Okay. I think I just have to use the 4 here and hope.
Yeah, just get it out of there.
Come on, just don't have a pass. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely flawless so far. See, with 2 people is where the game becomes really broken.
Yes, definitely.
So I think 4 is the maximum. So if I put a 2.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
This game sucks.
Wow.
Flawless victory.
Yeah, that was impressive. Nice. You're a Celtic Stack pro.
A shared victory for my mentoring. Oh, will you, Martin?
Yeah. I like Martin. I mean, he's generally just kind of like, he's an auxiliary character, but I just like his little bit of like charm that he just adds.
Oh, jeez. Waited for an intervention of nature. Fucking hell. You both seem suspicious.
Yeah.
Just putting your nose where it doesn't belong is what? Hey.
I like it because, I mean, it's fair.
Frigg definitely has, like, stakes in this game, though.
Yeah, of course.
Like, three times
definitely.
now she's had run-ins with this dude.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the idea of, but she's like, you know, she's an outsider. She's not privy to what's going on here, and it's like, why not?
I mean, Marge is also, she's very, like, she's the person who will, like, take the last nacho, you know? She'll absolutely just throw out the social niceties.
Yeah, like, she doesn't suffer for anyone, like, in that sense. And I think for me, because it makes sense, you know, because she's like, you know, like, having Victor's baby, so, like, you know, to be around, it's like, not like Victor's like a paradigm of, like, niceties. So, you need to be someone who's kind of, like, got a high threshold for, like, dealing with bullshit.
My wonderful party ambience is ruined. I like, does she want to shout a little louder? I can still hear her in one ear. That's a good one. I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah.
Maybe she should play Afterlives with us.
Yeah. It's always fun. Like, I mean, I always enjoy writing like one-liners of this because it's just like, because you don't know, people might not always like go to them, but it's fun just to like put them in there when you're like,
I'm doing it now, but I actually tend to do it a bit less when I'm streaming, just because I'm like, oh no, is it going to be really boring if I just talk to every NPC? But I will absolutely, of my own volition, talk to everybody.
Yes. I'm like that. I'm like, with me, like, I'm not, it's funny with games, I'm not really bothered about collectibles, but one thing I'll do, any bit of story or like, you can't go upstairs now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was almost gonna ask, but I was like, fuck, I'll just see.
Yeah.
Of course you would want to know. Little miss, I want to help everyone. Okay, I had to kill a rabbit yesterday and carry a frozen corpse. Come on. The latter only because the two people in the room were too chicken shit to do it themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe you can. Fucking hell, Clara.
Any opportunity.
Absolutely no fucking tact.
No.
What, is she gonna fucking murder me now? Oh no. For reasons I don't understand, everyone's suddenly got all big in their boots. They want to make a move against... Ugh. The man is a literal walking bag of shit, but I'm the one who's sheriff. This is... This is what I was thinking. Can't you ask for help? And what risks my reputation? Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you need... Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're not gonna get a choice now, are we?
No.
Oh, Beth, come on. Okay. Okay, well... Oh, no, he is here. Fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, almost broken.
It's a nice bit of phase, which,
You're fucking pushing me. Next thing I smash is going to be a lot softer than that fucking fancy shit. For fuck's sake, Leroy, that's not... Can we not just cool it a bit? You forget who the fuck I am? Where do you get the brass to talk to me like that? I'll take fucking care of you, and this is the thanks I get. I'm not saying I ain't grateful. Sounds to me like that's exactly what he's saying. Shut the fuck up, Ren. Hey, eyes on me, boy. Damn it, don't call me boy. Oh, why, you gonna do something? No, that's not what I meant. Leroy, I'm just worried. How's this all gonna end up? What the fuck are you worrying about? You see all these dumb fucks in the room? Every one of them fucking despises me. But hell, do I know they fear me? And you want to know why? That's right, you know why. Same way they know. Because if any of them even thinks about crossing me, I'll put them face down in the fucking ground, like all the others who crossed me. Leroy, I'm going to be a father soon. Better start wising up then. Don't fucking cross me again, baby brother. Move it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's what. Fucking hell. Okay. At least it didn't escalate further, but. I didn't bother with the Lemsip today, but God, Leroy's voice.
Yeah, I feel for your voice. Yeah, like it's hard. I appreciate you going the lengths. For Mr. Bowie's parties now.
Yeah, my party is ruined. Okay.
Sue's got a.
Clara, dude, come on. Do you see now? Can I go upstairs now?
I think you can now, yes.
I can.
But
I don't know if there's anything here to see.
No. So I mean, all you missed. It's one thing that happens simply because of the way the party goes. The first state of it is just a conversation between Ren and Leroy upstairs, where Frigg she listens to them.
You have to go up like before you have the thing with Clara, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured that might be the case.
Yes. But so like Frigg they don't actually talk to Frigg, but she over listens to the conversation, and you just basically get a little bit of exposition around the idea of like that Ren and Leroy have like some sorry.
Bless you.
They have like some like it just gives a little bit of idea that like Leroy is like on the run from elsewhere on another island kind of stuff.
Yes, I was wondering like if he's literally a murderer, then
yeah, exactly. He's kind of like lying low in this community, but he's made a name for himself and others. Return of Clumbin.
Clumbin looks fine.
Yeah.
I mean, she's smiling. She looks happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, she's already dead, so.
Yeah, exactly. If she's out in the water, she just. Anna's trying to give some like good advice.
Okay.
Everything's okay.
Sometimes you don't need to have all the responsibility, Frigg.
Yeah, and and sometimes it's because you feel like you can help, like you don't have to.
Not obligated to, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of beer, out of here. Alright, we're coming up on 10 o'clock, so I'm going to make this reading the end of the stream.
Nice.
Okay, out of beer, out of here. Bobby and Sue lived up the road. They were very much in love. The couple would spend most of their days walking to get beer. They drank so much beer that they didn't really ever need to eat food. If they felt hungry, they would just eat a biscuit. Bobby and Sue used to own an old pickup truck. Each morning they would drive to the general store to pick up their ration of beer for the day. Finally, one day, a sane person confiscated their car. Not deterred from losing their automobile, Bobby and Sue would instead walk down to the general store each and every single day. The journey was long, meaning their days were now predominantly filled with walking to and from the store. Of course, all this exercise required energy, which would mean getting the right amount of beer to keep them going. So, Bobby and Sue came up with the beer depot system. A sufficient number of beers would be too much to carry on a long trip, so each day, when they brought their beer at the general store, walking back they would hide half the beers in small depots. They worked out to hide them at a distance of 1 beer drinking time between each depot, so that the next day they could keep drinking while walking to the store. So, yes, Bobby and Sue loved their beers. If you were ever at a party with them, you know, one of those parties that lasts into the early morning, you better make sure you have enough beers left. Because when you're smoking your last cigarette, scrambling for whatever is still left to drink, either some bad wine, dregs of vodka, or anything else you can find to keep Bobby and Sue from leaving, it won't work. When all the beers are gone and no more is to be found, they'll simply say, "Out of beer, out of here," and the pair of them will walk home. Actually, Ingrid even told me about a time her and Sue went fishing out on the river. Ingrid had bought what she thought would be enough beer for the two of them that day. Tuborg, of course. When Ingrid had finished her second or third beer and reached for a new one, she saw that the rest were already gone. "Oh, we're out of beer," she said without much thinking. Just like that, Sue stood up and said, "Out of beer, out of here," jumped out of the canoe and swam to shore. She probably walked all the way to the general store, soaked, to get that next beer. So it's interesting that comes now. Like, we learned about the hidden beers very early on, but we now only see the source material for it here.
Yes.
Quite like that.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, 'cause sometimes it's also like, you know, the pacing of when to put the connections between some things and the other kind of stuff that. And also, I would say this bottle story works in a nice way for setup for what's to come. We'll find that out next time, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I guess that's that there.
Yes, that was really fun. It was nice. Yeah, we got through some of the.
Let's see what it tells me. 68. Yeah, it looks like that's almost exactly on track for 2/3 of the game. So
yes.
Hopefully a third session will see a wrap on that.
I think so. I think because you're a bit into chapter 3, and then like chapter 4 is it's very epilogue-y, like very like just.
That was like the first day of chapter 3, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And it's also quite a big one because of the party and the team mini games and stuff. So. Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Thanks,
nice. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out again.
No, pleasure. It was really fun.
Yeah, this was great too. It's cool to be getting into like the parts of the game I hadn't seen before, and getting some surprises and hearing.
So I'm just laughing at Joe's comment. Maybe you need Jesus.
Yeah. Oh god, that could apply to so many fucking moments from that day. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna see.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
I'm very bad at this, but I'm gonna see if there's someone I can raid. I don't actually know how many viewers are watching, but I should get better at this. Engage with the streaming community on Twitch. So. Oh right, High Score Club is still going. Oh okay, I guess High Score Club. I was wondering, did High Score Club pop up in here prior, like at the end of their stream, or prior to mine? But it looks like they've got one going now. So I'm going to raid the High Score Club.
Nice. That sounds great.
That's something that both myself and Murray are part of. Joe, an emissary from such as well. So yeah, I guess that's that. Thanks again for being here, Murray. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I'll have even better Astrid dogs next time, I'm sure. Those ones were absolutely fucking delicious, I have to say.
I'm glad. I'll tell her that tomorrow. I think she's always happy to hear that people are enjoying her recipes.
All right then. Might see you next week, same time. Provisionally, we'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, you're the one with more of a schedule than I have.
Yes. At least at the moment, I think that's going to work fine.
Awesome. All right. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Great.
High topping 3. I presume that's a member of Triple Topping.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
I don't know why that's my. I don't know why that's my name on this.
I think Joe sometimes accidentally logs in on the High Score Club account as well.
It's my fault. I'm on the Triple Topping Twitch. Oops.
I'm sure they'll forgive you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I didn't write anything stupid. But perfect. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Bye for now.
Have a good evening.
Yes.
See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
You too. Bye.